G'day guys, welcome back to another edition of the Inside Run. It's been a while. It's good to have Tamron back after a long time off. But look, just a little update for you today as far as where the stable's at. Going to also bring a special guest on. We're going to ask him a number of challenging questions, I hope. But just as far as our stable and how it's going, I guess we've been fairly quiet of recent times. We're probably, the best way to describe it is going through a little bit of a rebuilding phase, but it's an exciting phase. We've got a lot of unraced 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds. We've got a lot of yearlings coming through the system at the moment. Obviously, just looking around here, we're probably littered with more unraced horses than we are raced horses. So hopefully the future's bright. It's certainly something that I guess promotes every trainer to get out of bed each and every day, is not knowing what some of these horses have as far as their ability is concerned. So really looking forward to the future. We're working harder than ever. We've got a wonderful team of staff, ground staff, riders. Everyone's so vitally important here, and yeah, I think the future is very, very bright. Obviously, we're just off the back of our Winter Carnival as well, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit more depth in our next segment. But it was great to have Godolphin here throughout our carnival. They brought up some unbelievably good horses as well, as you'd know. So always good to have them each and every year, and look forward to getting them next year. But can I also say it's great that they've gone home as well. Just a quick one as far as racing is concerned on the local scene as well. Not only has it been challenging through Winter Carnival, the weather over the past 6 months has been horrendous. So had a lot of washouts, a lot of meetings transferred, and there's a huge amount of backlog of horses at the moment still looking to gain runs. We're seeing, I guess, some fields, some nominations up to, you know, the numbers of 40 and 50. You know, some of these fields are only running 12 or 14, sometimes less. So that, with this beautiful weather that we have now, should hopefully start to dwindle away in the coming weeks and months. And just also on our open days, thanks for everyone who has attended these. Just a reminder, the first Saturday of every month, anyone's welcome to come between 8 and 9 o'clock. You don't have to have a horse here. Bring a friend, anyone of your family, anyone you like. It's just a great opportunity to have a look around, see how the stable operates, meet some of our staff that look after your horses each and every day, and looking forward to the next one, as I say, first Saturday of every month. Joining me is our special guest today, Vice Chairman of the Brisbane Racing Club, Richard Morrison. Thanks for coming on board.
Thanks, Ando. Great to be here.
I want to talk about the Winter Carnival. It's all but over. Obviously a success. How did you guys see it from where you sit?
We're very happy. I think Stradbroke Day, everyone left with a spring in their step, thinking racing's in good shape in Queensland. We had about 10,500 on Stradbroke Day under beautiful sunshine like we do today again, and that makes a huge difference. But I'd like to congratulate Tony and his team. I think they presented the racecourse in great shape, and the feedback I've heard from Saturday's race day was everyone had a great time.
I heard David Fowler on the radio this morning talk about, in years gone by, that Brisbane Carnival may have been, I guess, undervalued by some, but now it's a real, I guess, focus for a lot of these southern stables now, and bringing up what is turning out to be some very, very good horses of the future. I'll be right in saying that?
Well, we see that every year, don't we? We see graduates from the Brisbane Winter Carnival take their form that they find here down to Sydney and Melbourne, and they're winning the biggest races in Australia. Never more evident than Without a Fight last year, who came and won the Lord Mayor's Cup and the Q22 on his way to a Caulfield Cup and a Melbourne Cup. But look, he's just one of a long list, and I think there's probably a couple of strong candidates to do the same thing out of this year's carnival.
One of the races here on Saturday was the Q22 with a sponsor known as the Whirlpool. I'm not overly familiar with it, probably a little bit more familiar than most, but can you just explain for our listeners what the Whirlpool is and how it works?
Yeah, sure. Look, in simple terms, the Whirlpool is a platform to expose Brisbane racing to 54 countries that presents us into, with all countries with the ability to bet on racing. Now, people who bet in USA, England, Germany, they'll all bet into one commingled pool. So it will be their local totes, but they all go into a side pool. So the liquidity is huge. If we were betting into Germany on an Australian tote, there might be $500 in there. That would then go into a world pool, which includes the wagering that's placed in the home country there. Hong Kong were betting on the Stradbroke the other day, so we had, I think it'll be something like $55 million worth of wagering in our meeting here. There'll probably be something, maybe not the same internationally, but it's going to be $20 to $30 million around the world bet on little old sleepy Brisbane.
So, with the people that are punting from overseas into those races, is there an earn for the BRC or for Racing Queensland in that regard?
Yeah, look, there is. Our club has carved international out of the wagering deal, and we get a clip from our media rights agreement, which is actually super, because it's really the only upside that our club has for being able to put on these great races. I mean, that's the model that we operate under in Queensland, is that the clubs put on the event, but Racing Queensland and the government clips a ticket for the wagering. So having access to an international pool outside of that domestic agreement is huge for our club.
And is that something that will continue on now, or is it a one-off, or how does that work?
No, look, we've been trying to break into this pool for several years now, and I think now that we've done it, feedback from Hong Kong was that we were very well received up there. I think it's likely that we had 6 races this year. Hopefully we can expand on that next year and take some more races through our 5 weeks of Group 1 racing.
Eagle Farm, the track, obviously it's been a big talking point over previous years, and it seems to be well on the improve now. And I guess for Southeast Queensland, it's been really difficult with the Gold Coast out to play. The sunny coast through poor weather's been battling, so it's been a real struggle. Not to mention we're at a poor growing season. How are you finding Eagle Farm now, and how are you looking into it for the future?
Yeah, look, we thought we were on top of everything with Eagle Farm, and I think just through conditions this year, the track picked up a little bug, and it was identified early. But there's one thing identifying it and treating it, but it still takes time to come back to full health. Now, that took about 8 weeks, from the time it was treated to Stradbroke Day, really, where I thought it played pretty well on Saturday, and I think we're definitely through the worst of that. I have to praise our grounds team there. This year, up until the end of May, they actually had the same rainfall as they had all of last year. So, and it was a hot summer, as you'll remember. So, perfect conditions for infestation from some little nasties. But the guys have done a great job managing it.
Yeah, I never really thought humidity played such a negative impact in a growing grass, but it's one of the worst things that they can experience, they tell me.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think I do remember you in biology, Chris. I don't think you were paying attention, but these microorganisms thrive in hot and humid conditions, and we've seen that at our race course here and around the southeast or around Queensland in general. That's something that we always need to be wary of.
The reason I wasn't paying attention is I wasn't there. I was at the tab, wagging. For punters at home watching Sky in the enclosure now, up until quite recently, we weren't seeing the enormous amount of Ladbroke signs. Just talk us through, there's a new deal that BRC have now done with Ladbrokes.
So you weren't seeing them, or you were seeing them?
Up until the sponsorship.
The Whirlpool, right, yeah. So look, Ladbrokes have been with us. This is their second Stradbroke season, actually, and look, we changed after being exclusive with TAB for such a long time, in fact forever. This is the first time that under Racing Queensland rules, our club or any club has been able to entertain sponsorship offers from outside bookmakers. Now, we went with lads. Look,
and that's a legislative change, right?
That was a legislative change at that time under the new agreement, new wagering agreements. Look, at the time, there were financial deals from a number of bookmakers. To be honest, there's not a whole lot of difference between all of those, but we were really impressed by other things that Ladbrokes offered. Now, you would have seen a lot of the digital media content that they put out, which is just outstanding. And it's promoting Brisbane racing, and that's great for our club. That's great for you. Brings owners to Queensland to race horses with you, and ultimately drives that turnover that we can return, or Racing Queensland can return into prize money for owners. Now that's what drives the industry, and we think that having Ladbrokes as our partner really adds to that. And I got to say, I couldn't be happier with what they've delivered since we signed with them 18 months ago.
Yeah, they're certainly very passionate about racing. Be nice if Calder Crew could just give me a little offer there with the Ladbrokes account, but anyway, that's one to work on. Mate, just wrapping up, I suppose how long have you been on the board now?
13 years, I think.
That long? Yeah.
I think so.
I guess, you know, with racing and knowing what you now know, we know that Brisbane is certainly a long way behind Sydney and Melbourne, and it's always going to be. We just need to make sure that gap is not getting too big. What sort of improvements do you think we need to see here? Not so much in southeast Queensland, but more so for your two tracks with Eagle Farm and Doomben.
Yeah, look, it's a really good question. The obvious one, and it's sort of smacks you in the face, anyone who comes to our racetracks after maybe visiting a Randwick or a Flemington or a Caulfield, is our facilities are very dated. Now, once again, I mentioned that model that we operate under here. In the old days, the clubs used to get the benefit of their wagering turnover. That doesn't happen in Queensland. It's Racing Queensland that clips the ticket and subsidises clubs for their racing product. But the subsidies that we get doesn't cover all of our racing operations alone, let alone leave anything for infrastructure upgrades. And that's what we're desperately seeking now. We've been working with the government for this for quite a long time. We have an Olympics coming up here in 8 years' time. There's a lot of people with their hands out for funding. We think we've been really patient with it. We have been really patient with it. I mean, these discussions have been happening for a decade now, and we've had some meaningful dialogue. But when we get to the pointy end of discussions and offer the check up for signing, something's changed and it hasn't come through. But look, Minister Grace is open-minded. We keep talking to her. She tells me it's a priority, tells our club it's a priority to have this new grandstand built, at some stage in the next couple of years, hopefully. And to be honest, we need that. The grandstand that we have has some structural issues, so it's well and truly at its end of life.
You've only got to go to Randwick and Rosehill and look at the facilities down there, don't you? They're just unbelievable. To put a comparison on the two, we are a long way behind. Look,
we walk in there and we're extremely envious of what they get to deal with, and their members get to enjoy that each and every Saturday. We have some facilities that I think are wonderful in that they bring that old world charm, but they need to be complemented with newer state-of-the-art facilities that members expect to and owners expect to enjoy at the Metropolitan Race Club for a city the size of Brisbane.
And how many members would you have roughly at the BRC?
We had about 4,000 full members.
And looking for more?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I think that having a new grandstand, a shiny new toy, so to speak, would be a big driver for that. It would really help us.
And just get online if you want to become a member?
Yeah, it's easy now. Yep. Very easy. You can do that online. You'll be passed straight away and ratified at the board meeting end of the month.
And I guess one thing I don't think enough about, and you mightn't be able to comment about this, is how much racing delivers to the community. How much it helps fund hospitals and roads and all this infrastructure that for some reason, I don't know, I just don't think there's enough dialogue about that. Whether you can talk about that or not, I don't know, but I think there's some really good stories that racing can probably tell better that they're not already telling at the moment.
Yeah, look, you're 100% right. I mean, not to mention the people that racing employs.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people are, people working in your stables here. They're not the highest paid roles around, but they're jobs that look after people that maybe aren't suited to anything else, and they do it here because they love it. Most of these people, they actually work in stables because they love it. But we've got 60 people here looking after tracks and grounds as well. Brisbane Racing Club, we've got a wage bill of close to $2 million a month. So it's a big employer in the north side of Brisbane. But I know racing directly employs Last figure I heard was somewhere around 45 to 50,000 Queenslanders, and indirectly through your feed suppliers and other providers to both stables and race clubs, could be up to another 150,000 people. So it's a huge driver to the Queensland economy.
Yeah, and I know we talk about staff and wages, and look, I'm really happy to report that they're getting more money now than they've probably ever had in the past. That wage increase is really becoming more and more each and every year. So, I think the staff are happy for what they get. I think we pay a lot better now than a lot of other industries do pay, and there's no doubt the love of the animal gets them here at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's one thing I think the industry is starting to do better, is remunerate their employees. Mate, thanks for coming on. Well done.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, team. Righto, just a quick 60 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it may be. You ready?
Can't wait.
Favourite jockey?
J-Mac.
Second favourite jockey?
I'm a big Jimmy Orman fan in Brisbane.
Favourite horse?
Mine or someone else's?
Both.
I'm going to go with Takeover Target, all-time favourite. Actually, in a photo finish with Lonhro. Not sure what race that would be if they were in a photo finish, but and locally, look, he wasn't a local horse, but Rough Habit, when he used to come to these carnivals, I used to love, and I had a real soft spot for a little filly that we raced called Boomtown Lass, who didn't win all that many races, but she never ran bad races, and she just kept kicking the tin, kept paying away.
Hey, 25 grand for her at your 1-800, and I got your 400 as a broodmare. Not bad. Anyway.
Can we pay you a commission on that?
Not a cent.
It's in the mail.
Not a cent. Righto, if you had to give yourself one piece of advice, or as your younger self, looking back, what would that be?
Never run downstairs and don't back odds on.
Who do you follow on the NRL?
Broncos.
Who wins the premiership?
Broncos. Got some good cattle still to come back. We're in it.
Dreamers. Who wins the AFL premiership?
I'm going to go Gold Coast Suns. Go the Queenslanders.
Righto. Queensland wins the State of Origin next Wednesday. That's a given. By what margin, and who's your man of the match?
Queensland by 14, and I'm going to go with the poster boy, Reece Walsh.
This is a tricky one. What horse did not win a feature race that you can give us as one to follow?
I was actually devastated for Laurie Mayfield Smith and their stable when Zuna came out on race morning. I thought it was a pretty tough call. I think Laurie knows his horses, has been doing it for a long time, and look, broadsiding was just so impressive, but I know they were really wrapped in that horse, and he would have turned in front and given them something to chase down. He'll win some good races.
Outside of Queensland, best racetrack in Australia?
Got to be Flemington.
And lastly, if you could win any race, what would it be?
Stradbroke. It's a race we've been coming to all our life. Desperate to have a runner in, let alone a live chance, so I'd love to win a Stradbroke.
More so than an Everest?
Yeah.
He's got more money than me.
Pop-up races. Who needs them?
Just a quick one on some shares we still have available. I'm pleased to say we are almost completely out of opportunities, but there is one left I'm going to tip you into. We do have a few left, but if there's one horse, if anyone's looking for a share, it's to get involved in a Star Turn filly. We'll put it on screen. You can head to our website. We've sold more than half of her, but if I had to tip you one for the shares that we have remaining, that is the horse I'm going to tip you into. Hopefully a future star. That's it, guys. Thanks to Richard for coming along and giving us a little bit of an insight into Carnival, and make sure you don't forget our open days coming up. Also, Ariat, I've got no idea whether they're still on board. I'm presuming they are. We'll put the little discount on screen, and if you're out there at DFO, make sure you get out and see Pete, the team. I'm sure they're only more than happy to look after you. Thanks again, guys. Greatly appreciate the support as always, and look forward to catching up with all of you at the races sometime soon.
Oh, got it.
He's got it. We're rolling, mate. This is live.
Oh, this is live.
This is live
Okay.
TV.
Okay.
Yeah, and cheers to Laurie, or Damien Mayfield Smith, my boxing coach, which I've been a little bit slack with. Cheerio, Damo.
My money's on Davo.
Here he is now. What am I saying? What am I talking about now? Just remind me. Come on. We've got.
This is our last two cats. I know I got one more.
Here, you come up and give it a pat. Like, give it a pat.
Give it a little carrot. Give it a little.
And don't look at the cameras. Pretend there's no camera. Give it a pat. Up there. Up here. Rub your hand up here on the forelock. Need to clear the throat. Haven't had to clear the throat for 6 months. Tamron comes. Good. Where you been? Where haven't you been, is where I should say.
Is that
That was terrible. That was terrible. Oh, excellent work, Rich. Tamron.